I believe we live into the stories we tell ourselves. Henry Ford used to say that those who believe they can and those who believe they can't are both right. And I think that's always tied to the story you're telling yourself. Well, the stories that I've sort of lived through over the years are a couple of my parents told me when I was a boy. My mother used to say, "You can do anything you put your mind to." And my father, who had a slightly more realistic view of the world, used to say, "Well, you're only a loser if you quit when you're down." So my whole life, I've been going after everything I wanted to do and getting up, dusting myself off, and trying again frequently. As time went on, I heard these stories over and over again, but they were nowhere near as powerful, quite frankly, as the stories that my daddy told me when I would ride around in the front of the pickup truck with him. I can remember him telling me stories of when he was a boy. He grew up in Oregon Hill, which, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Richmond, was a working class neighborhood down by the James River. And the railroad tracks rode by at the bottom of the hill. And as a boy, he would hang around down there. And he told me how he discovered a burlap bag down there once, and he filled it up with coal that had fallen off the trains that went through there. He drug it home and stuck it out of the porch, and the next time he found a burlap bag, he repeated that process, and after a while, he was looking for burlap bags, and that winter, they heated the house with a lot of the coal that he had found. And he said to me that that was one of the first times in his life he realized that he could make a difference in this world. Well, I want to let you know that after listening to my parents complain that the boy who was delivering the evening paper either wasn't delivering it or was delivering it late, I went out and I said, "Johnny, you don't like doing this, do you?" And he said, "No." I said, "Well, how much do you want for the route?" And he said, $1. This was 1962. Let me tell you something. $1 was a lot of money. But in those days, people used to just throw money on the street. They were called soft drink bottles, and you got a 2-cent deposit if you returned them, and literally by the next afternoon, I had found and redeemed 50 bottles. I had $1 in my hand, and I walked up and I said, "Here," and he gave me the assets of my first business. There were 3. The first was an ink-stained, ratty old newsboy bag that I think was left over from World War II. The second was a 3-hole loose-leaf notebook page that was written in pencil with the houses on the route, but it had been opened and closed so many times that it was falling apart, and he'd erased and written it. It was horrible. But the jewel of the assets was the collection book, because he wasn't any better at collecting than he was at delivering. There were $12 worth of uncollected receipts in that book. This was another lesson I learned during this period, which is the longer you delay in collecting something, the worse the chances are of collecting it. But I was able to collect $8 of those $12 worth of receipts. 800% return on my investment. I have been chasing that kind of investment my entire business life. Well, why have I told you this story? Well, because I believe stories are probably the most effective way to influence people. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you a public speaker? Well, if so, then you're a leader. And if you're a leader, are you an effective public speaker? Because if you're not, you're missing a chance to influence people. And I want to let you know that one of the most powerful ways of influencing people is with story. Now, I'm sure you're aware that leaders really only do 3 things. They initiate change, they sustain change, and they grow leaders. Now, I want you to know story is probably one of your most effective tools in that area, because you can always tell people what to do. You can model the behavior you want, but telling stories of how people have modeled that behavior as well gives you a trifecta that's incredibly powerful. So guess what? On November 18th, the Virginia chapter of the National Speakers Association is going to have an open workshop. They're going to admit people besides their members to learn how to use story to influence people. I don't know if you know, my name is Gayle Turner. I'm the founding storyteller of the Storytellers Channel, and I'm going to be there to work with people to figure out, well, what stories can we tell to influence people? How do I tell those stories? And when's the appropriate time to use a story? So if you're conscious of the stories you tell yourself or you're not, if you're conscious of the stories that you tell others trying to influence them, or you're not, I assure you that if you come join us, you'll be better at initiating change, at sustaining change, and at growing leaders. And who wouldn't want to be better at that? Somewhere at the end of this, you're going to find whether it's a QR code or a URL or something that's going to direct you where you find the information you need to register and any other additional information you may need. I hope you'll come join us. I look forward to seeing you, and I particularly look forward to being influenced by the stories that you'll share with us. Come tell me a story.